My name is Matthew Cooke.
My name is Cornel West.
And this is How to Start a Revolution.
You got so much suffering, so much social misery. There's got to be another way of living, another way of arranging our lives together.
I was honored to meet with Cornel West in South Carolina last week. He's one of my favorite speakers, writers, scholars, and social justice leaders. He's a Harvard graduate, he's a PhD from Princeton, he's written over 20 books, has 3 spoken word albums, and for many people, certainly including myself, he's keeping alive the legacy of the great Martin Luther King Jr.
And it is my hope that we will get together and be together. Black people, Mexican Americans, American Indians, Puerto Ricans, Appalachian whites, all working together to solve the problem of poverty.
Reading the words of Martin Luther King Jr. just made you shake and quiver. And I said to myself, this is what the Sanders campaign is about.
Right. That's right.
Just turn that after this is what it's about.
That's right.
It's about the poor, working people. It's about keeping track of the weak and the vulnerable. It's about mustering the courage to tell the truth about Wall Street, about wealth inequality, about decrepit schools, the need for jobs with a living wage.
That Dr. Cornel West is endorsing Bernie Sanders for president, or endorsing anybody in politics, is huge. West is one of those rare human beings who cannot help but speak his full truth, a truth that can be incredibly threatening to an establishment that's corrupted our democracy and turned it into an oligarchy.
Well, let's understand the operations of power, why the status quo can reproduce itself.
CEOs at the top 1% making billions and billions and billions of dollars, but so many of our children and so many of our poor folk homeless, hungry.
America now has more wealth and income inequality than any major developed country on earth. And the gap between the rich and everybody else is wider than at any time since the 1920s. Now that's something I'm comfortable saying publicly, certainly something Cornel West would say, but the man who said those exact words is presidential candidate Senator Bernie Sanders.
One of the reasons our campaign is doing so well is that we are discussing the real issues facing the American people, something that most politicians and the media just don't do. In fact, one of the great concerns I have had for many, many years is that the corporate media looks at elections as if they were a baseball game in terms of who's winning or losing or how much money a candidate is raising, or even a soap opera. You know, what kind of dumb things somebody said yesterday that we can put all over CNN.
The only way that Sanders can talk like that is because he is not bought and paid for by special interests. He's the only candidate who refuses corporate and billionaire donations. I mean, this guy is truly going after those elite few who have bought and paid for our government. Those who control our economy, who've erected a police state, the largest prison population on the planet. And Bernie Sanders actually threatens that totally illegitimate authority by speaking directly against it. That's revolution, the changing of an illegitimate social order in favor of a better one.
In the last 250 years, most of the revolutions that have taken place have been in the name of democracy. The rule of demos, the rule of ordinary people. Well, how does it begin? Well, first somebody has the courage to engage in a critique of monarchs, engage in a critique of other forms of illegitimate forms of authority. Then they try to provide through writing, through music, through art, through painting, through films, very much like this particular artistic endeavor that we're engaged in, to get the word out.
We are spending $80 billion a year locking up our fellow Americans. We need major, major reforms of a very broken criminal justice system. Now, what does that mean? Well, for a start, it means that police officers should not be shooting unarmed people.
That's what we love about, as West calls him, Brother Bernie. He isn't afraid to make promises about the big elephants in the room.
He said, I'm going to make a promise right now that I am going to shrink the prison industrial complex so that the war on drugs is not a war on poor people or black poor or brown poor, and I'm going to put a priority on education and rehabilitation rather than incarceration.
Dostoevsky said it. The degree of civilization in a society can be judged by entering its prisons. And then for the Christians out there, there's your Bible. Hebrews 13:3, remember those that are in chains as if you were in chains with them. And in this country, we have so many in chains and so many communities where our children are destined for them. And it's become such a part of our culture, those chains have even become a rite of passage. Now that needs to change.
In the end, of course, you're going to have to engage in some kind of community policing, where you have police who are organic members of the community who already have the trust and respect of the people. They're extensions of the people are extensions of them. But that goes hand in hand with eliminating poverty, job with a living wage, high quality education, and a host of other things that have to be in place to have healthy communities and families.
Those topics that Dr. West just spoke on, that's the platform of presidential candidate Bernie Sanders, which is why we've become so galvanized by his campaign. The 50 million Americans living below the poverty line, all of our children in record poverty, the environment, racism, radical inequality, and a lack of opportunities for all people. As Martin Luther King said, either we go up together or we go down together. So we need to all speak the truth from the very bottom to the top.
Our political system, it is corrupt, it is rotten. You have to be able to say it. Most people won't even acknowledge. That's what we love about Brother Bernie Sanders. He tells the truth about it. So then the question is, well, what do you do about it? You're not going to allow that rotten corruption to have the last word. You got to do something about it. You provide some alternative, some campaigns, through demonstrations, through organizations, through oppositional activities. And it could be a political revolution, the way Brother Bernie's talking. It could be a number of different ways in which we can act on alternative visions of a new world. And of course, in our case, we're talking about not so much a new planet, but a new way of trying to preserve the planet.
That's how high the stakes are in this election, in this life. Cornel and I encourage you to take a few minutes and visit Bernie Sanders' website, learn about the issues that he cares about and how he cares to address them. Revolution is easy. All we have to do is participate and educate ourselves on the real threats to our well-being, not buy into fear-mongering, scapegoating, prejudice, or hate. I mean, can you envision a country where enough of us do that? What happens?
People awaken, mobilization, organization, transformation, revolution, transfer of power, transfer of wealth to working and poor people.